Good morning. We're going to give just a few minutes for people to join us. This is our first virtual Meet the Manager meeting drive around. Give us a little bit of grace as we work through any technical difficulties. This will be our first time completely remote without a laptop, so there'll be some camera switching back and forth so we can get shots of what's been going on. Looking forward to the drive around. How many people do we have? 3 viewers so far.
Tell us where you guys are from this morning. Where are you hanging out at? You want to hop out and look at the outside scenery here?
I figure we'll just drive right up to the Welcome Center.
Okay.
We'll probably pop the camera around the other way and get my ugly mug off of there. All right, so first update that we really wanted to showcase this morning are the new roofs. So if you've been kind of watching what's been happening around here at Treasure Lake, the new roofs have been kind of all the talk. So we were able to contract with Branson Roof Co. The owner of that company is an owner here at Treasure Lake, and we went through a bid process. We looked at 4 different bids and chose theirs to move forward with. So we did the Welcome Center, the indoor pool, and the clubhouse. You'll have to excuse me, I'm getting over a bit of a cold. So that included new gutters and downspouts as well.
Mark and Diana are watching from Northwest Arkansas. Chris and Crystal are from Independence, Missouri. Hi guys, we have 12 people on here so far. All right.
So on the clubhouse and the pool house, you guys may have noticed the back of the pool house, we had a lot of sagging in the roof on the overhangs, and that required a lot of replacement of decking. Luckily, it wasn't a major structural issue. It was just kind of how they attached those eaves. So we did our best to ensure that those got straightened out. We also replaced a lot of that fascia board as well. We had talked about, of course, paint is coming as well. That's going to match the roofs a little bit better. We're waiting for it to warm up a little bit before we put those coats of paint on. And there are still some additional repairs that need to happen. There's on the siding, there's some parts that are pretty rotted out that we've identified. But hopefully the goal is to just cut out the areas that need to be replaced and then use a Z channel to ensure that rotting doesn't continue. So still a work in progress, but the new roofs look amazing. Back here in this parking lot, one thing that I've heard from several owners, and we've noticed it ourselves, is the lighting out here at night. We've got several lights that are out. So Mike is working with the city to identify, some of these are owned by Treasure Lake and some of them are owned by the city. So we're going through and marking which ones are owned by whom, and we're working toward getting those replaced, the bulbs replaced, so that during the start of next season, we'll have appropriate lighting here in the parking lot. The pool, of course, has been drained, the outdoor pool. And is currently, my car is reading 26 degrees. Occupancy is currently at 23% for RV sites as of yesterday and 21% occupied rentals. And our first stop today is going to be at Unit 602. Jeff told me that housekeeping was in there this morning doing a deep clean, and I wanted him to kind of walk you guys through what they're looking at when they're doing a deep clean and what steps they're taking to ensure that our facilities are nice and clean for visitors. So. So Jeff has a cleaning schedule he put together that's specific to deep cleaning. So we're still keeping up with the regular cleaning, obviously, after people leave a unit. But this is specialized cleaning that Jeff is doing that happens once a year to really ensure that that cleanliness standard is where it needs to be. So we're going to hop out here and we'll talk with Jeff and his team real quick. And Jeff is our new housekeeping manager. We introduced him on Facebook. He's been doing an amazing job. Not only looking at cleaning standards, we're actually going to stop by housekeeping later on today during this meet the manager meeting. And I went to the sign glass door. I don't know if this is open. And just look at the facility itself, because there's been quite a few changes to their work area as well. Knock, knock. Hey, how's it going? I'm doing good.
This is nice.
Is Jeff in?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
He's on his way.
Okay.
I'm here to tell somebody on the radio.
Gotcha.
Cool. We're just going to take a little tour.
So one of the things that he told me that they're, and I'm going to have him explain it as well, what he's really looking at during deep cleans. But I spent some time in house cleaning, cleaning units when we were shorthanded, and just to learn the process and what our standard is. And I can tell you that our standard hasn't always been where it should have been. So we're really working to ensure that that standard is where it needs to be for our owners and guests. But things like, the baseboards, things that don't get cleaned every time we have to go through and clean, that really deep cleaning is what he's looking at. So wiping down every surface on the inside, looking at areas that need to be replaced or fixed, repainted. So like areas like this, when housekeeping are in here looking at this, they're going to actually create a work order using our new MaintainX system. So areas like this will get checked a lot more often, and there's a easy way to report that so that it gets fixed. Additional cleaning,
Nice.
if it needs to be done as well, is going to be happening during this time. So maintenance and housekeeping are really working hand in hand to make sure that our units are kind of brought up to where we would like them to be. Here's another area that's like maintenance, obviously, is going to take a look at this. And then placement of the chairs. Is
Absolutely.
this the best place for the chair?
Yeah. Overall, when you walk in, it's very bright.
Yeah.
Very
I love the paint
cheery.
in this
Yeah.
one, for sure.
Very nice. Nice little kitchen. Hi, Trisha. We would love to see you in February. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello. Very nice. Oh, you have a little door back here. Very cool. Let's see what's in these cabinets. Nothing in there.
things that Jeff mentioned that made me laugh was we didn't have a standard bulb that we use. So one of his pet peeves is walking into a unit and there being different colored lights.
Yes.
So that's something that we're working towards.
Mine too.
Bright
Yeah.
light
Yeah.
is what we went with. So know
Yeah.
that if you see a light bulb that doesn't match, let somebody know because it shouldn't be there.
Nice. I like that. I'm gonna turn these lights on. Does that help any?
Yeah.
A little bit.
So here's a deep cleaning example. So see this globe here? That hasn't been deep cleaned. Nobody's taken. That's not part of our regular routine. We
It's hard to see it,
clean
but there's
regularly.
like some little moths or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it just needs to be washed.
Some dirt,
So
yeah.
that's a good example of something that's going to be done during the deep clean as well.
Nice. Very, very cool.
Wonderful. Well, we may have to catch up with Jeff later.
We can do that.
We've got an exciting, later on during the tour, we're going to look at a deck that's kind of a prototype for us. We're going to see if it works really well. Because as you can see, a lot of our decks are in bad repair.
Yeah. Yeah, it turned out to be a nice day.
Yeah, it did.
It's really nice.
Compared to how it's been.
Yeah, a little bit of snow left on the ground. Should melt off soon. Oh, is that Jeff?
There's Jeff. Hey Jeff. We just toured the unit a little bit. No, but you want to talk about deep cleaning a little bit? I'll pull forward so you can get out.
Pull over here.
Okay. We're noting a lot of repairs to retaining walls, and wooden borders that we put around certain areas.
Yep.
Obviously not all of them can be fixed this year, but we're getting them on a list now with Maintain X to know what needs to be repaired. So
Nice.
when the long-term planning committee meets, we can really look at when those things can be done, what the cost is going to be. So if you haven't met Jeff, this is Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
So you're live with how many people?
40, 39, 40.
39.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff's on here. There'll be more. So what are some things that so I talked about the light bulbs. I talked about light fixtures coming down and cleaning the inside of those. What are some other things that you're really looking for when you're deep cleaning a unit?
Maybe most of the cobwebs. We take everything out of the cupboards, wipe out the dishes. Sometimes people don't clean the dishes properly, so we make sure they're all clean.
Yeah.
We wipe out all the drawers, make sure the floor vents are vacuumed out, and pretty much we wipe down from the ceiling to the floor. Basically, everything in the room gets touched.
Yeah, that's
Wipe
awesome.
down. Make sure all the drains are flowing properly, so people don't get in the shower, the water doesn't back up on them.
Nice.
And during a normal cleaning routine, they're hitting a lot of these high-touch surface areas. They're obviously sweeping and mopping every time we turn over a unit. But this deep cleaning is really some special attention paid, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we honestly can't do all that stuff each time people get in and out of cabins, but
Yeah.
we do most everything.
Yeah.
That people
Awesome.
are going to need to have a clean room.
All right. Anything else you want to tell owners?
It's warming up, so come on here and rent a room.
That's
All
right.
Right now too.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
right. All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Awesome. Have a good day. Thank you.
See ya.
If anybody has any questions or if there's something that you'd like to see, feel free to drop a comment and let us know. Again, all RV sites are being inspected this year in that Maintain X platform. And for those of you that don't know what that is, we're going to talk about it a little more when we meet with Mike later on during the call. But it's a way for us to track what needs to be done around the park. It's an electronic system that ensures that we understand what needs to be repaired, what has been repaired, what each asset is costing us annually to maintain, so that we can budget wisely. It's assigning a priority to each one of those things that need to be done, so we can ensure we're focusing on the major things first, but not dropping the ball on the little things either. So it's every site. There's two types of things that we're going to be doing with the system. One of them is a work order, so hey, something's broken, and then also inspections. And the great thing about it is when they do one of these RV site inspections or a unit inspection, and they mark that there's a failure. So let's say, for instance, one of the pedestals is bent, or in a unit something has gone wrong, a cabinet door needs to be replaced. It automatically creates a work order for our team. So as they do the inspections, we'll be figuring out what all needs to be done. Again, based on that priority. So far, we've got 26 planned site improvements, and our proposed budget for 2025 for those repairs is $60,000. Now, you may be saying you can do a lot more with $60,000. Our goal with the first 26 is just really getting a good read on what it's going to cost to pour a pad.
Yep.
What it's going to cost to put gravel down, replace a pedestal, not just in actual dollars, but man hours as well.
Yeah.
And then from there, we'll plan additional sites. And I've talked to Mike, and we agree, our goal is to ensure that we don't want to put giant major repairs into just a couple of sites. We really want to see a deep impact in the ones that need a lot of care and attention, and then care across the RV sites as well. I want, when somebody comes into the park, to see that repairs are being done and sites are being upgraded. So if it's a grass site, maybe it's going to go to gravel. If it's a gravel site, can we take it to concrete? We've got a lot of pedestals that need to be repaired or replaced.
Becca would like to know, when does breakfast start back up?
When does breakfast start back up? So I'm driving, and I have not an eidetic memory, and I'm sorry about that. I should have had that date. We can certainly send that out or make sure it gets in the newsletter. By the way, the newsletter is coming out soon. It's in the final draft stages now. So maybe we'll do an announcement, since we're so close to getting that.
Absolutely.
Already.
Absolutely. We are in the process of hiring a food and beverage manager.
Yeah.
So that's all part of the process before breakfast starts. Trisha says, did I understand that we as members, owners, can donate to help with repairs and maintenance? Do you want to tell them a little bit about how they can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's going to be an announcement in our annual dues. There was a letter that came out from the board that kind of detailed the repairs that we were looking at doing for the capital improvements. And during Meet the Manager meetings in the past, I had that question come up a lot. And the answer is absolutely yes. And if you earmark that for capital improvements, that's the only thing that donation can be used for.
Right.
So you'll see on the new financial packet that we're going to be putting out that there will be a capital improvements line on the balance sheet. And you'll see that number grow as people donate, and then shrink as we use those funds for capital improvements. It's my goal to ensure that owners know and understand where each dollar of that fund goes, and that's going to be really informed by our long-term plan. And if you have interest in serving on the long-term planning committee, we haven't had our first official meeting yet, I have dropped the ball on that one. I was hoping to have our first meeting in January, but now it's looking more like February. So, and you can reach out to me if you're interested in serving on that committee, gm@tlresort.com. On the walking path, you'll notice some of the bridges and walkways have been repainted. So we had a volunteer day late last year and had some members come out and help us get those repainted and looking awesome.
Kevin says, good morning, Stephen and Amy. When will phase 2 and 3 be open for all sites? March 1st.
March 1st is that's the big
It's
date.
exciting. We're going to kick off camping season in March. We've got some big plans for that, so stay tuned. We're going to do a big spring break bash for a week long. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, more details to come on that. We're live music events.
Absolutely. So we're going to go over the concrete sites.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Bill McCorkle says, hoping there is plans for maintenance for the storage areas. My trailer is sitting in mud.
Oh no.
That's not good. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know. We'll go out there and take a look at it for sure.
Becca has a suggestion.
Okay.
She would like to get rid of the fishing pond in phase 2 and put in a splash pad.
A splash pad.
I do think the splash pad idea is a great idea. I think it's a really, really good idea.
But I really like the phase 2 pond.
I do, yeah. Maybe we could have both. Phase 2 is looking a little empty.
So we're gonna stop right here and look at these sites. You'll also notice that there's been a lot of trimming going on. They have trimmed an enormous amount of trees.
Yeah, they have.
Trimmed, and then we've also cut down several trees as well that caused an issue when people were trying to park.
Yeah.
So they've been really hard work on that. Now these 3 sites here, so 289, 290, and 291 have been selected to be upgraded to a concrete pad. So as you can see, a lot of concrete pads in this area. These 3 have not been updated yet, and Mike wanted to take a look at these first. What's going to go into that? Of course, with any project like this, you may run into some issues and have to change it. We've done a couple different things with pads before. We've dug down and put the pad. We've raised the pad above the surface, and we're going to be digging these out to install that pad. So, really excited about that. And then, of course, the retaining walls as well that are here currently will go away, which a lot of them are deteriorated pretty badly. So.
Very nice.
So if you're a fan of the cedars, some upgrades coming this way for sure. We will be swinging by to look at the pond as well a little bit later.
Yeah. Hi, Peggy. Hope to see you guys soon. Is anyone else having trouble hearing what you're saying? Go ahead and talk a little bit.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Can you all hear that?
The way it's supposed to work is I've got a lapel mic on, so I'm supposed to be able to go away from the camera and still be heard. Speaking of storage, we did have a question last time that I didn't get to. It was in regards to let's just keep it a general question about if somebody is not upholding their end of the contract, meaning moving their RV out of storage, or if their RV has some damage that needs to be addressed, all of those things. What are we doing about that? And we did an inspection of those a few months ago, and we've already been reaching out to owners that need to take action. So if you've been reached out to by us, please take that action as quickly as possible. We're typically giving 30 days for somebody to come down and make corrections that need to happen. So, but obviously, if somebody is not moving the RV, the specific question was there's an RV that's been there for 7 years that hasn't moved, and unfortunately that does seem to be the case. But with anybody that's not meeting those contract requirements, we're reaching out to them and ensuring that either gets done or that site gets freed up for somebody that needs it. So, all right, and we are at 183.
So it sounds like the sound may be a little worse when we're outside of the car. So
Gotcha.
It may be a lapel problem. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
So we'll stay close.
Knock, knock. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much. We have Facebook Live going on. So we were talking about MaintainX. We're currently in a bit of a transition phase with MaintainX. So we started the system, we uploaded our assets, trying to see if it would be a good fit for our organization. It did seem like it's going to be a good fit. Met with the board and said, hey, if we want to roll this out completely, it's going to look like tablets that our maintenance team has, that they're using to check off those items as done, logging new items that need to be done, and like I was talking about, those inspections. So right now we're doing the inspections on paper, but within about 3 weeks we've got the tablets in, and they're going to be, Richard's going to make sure they're all set up as Treasure Lake devices.
Perfect.
We got to slap an ID number on them because
Yep.
we're doing asset protection now with all of our stuff, and then they'll go into service. So really excited about that. Mike, you want to take us through what are you looking at in a unit when you're coming in to do an inspection to make sure it's up to our standard?
Well, we've got a PM, and through MaintainX, and what we do is we'll have where it says rental 183, which is the one that we're in, and then we've got a checklist that we go through to flag or fail or pass, which flag we'll write up a work order, fail, of course, we'll write up a work order. That way we can get it done in a timely manner.
Yeah, and it does it automatically.
So,
That's the amazing part. So your guys are going through, you're inspecting, you're looking at those things that some people may walk into a unit and not even see.
Right.
You're logging those, and then all those are, again, prioritized, right? If it's cosmetic, if it's chip paint on the wall, if we're not during the down season, that probably won't get hit right away.
Right.
But now we're in down season, so we can really hit these hard and
Yes,
do a lot of
absolutely.
repairs that.
Yes, and also when we're going through here and we go through our checklist, we might see something that needs to go on the checklist.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
so
it's
we
always
can
a work
add
in
that.
progress. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
You bet. And these guys are doing an awesome job going
Nice.
through all this, and we're really excited about the new system coming in.
Give us some examples. What are you looking for?
Right now, like right on here, it says look for water damage and stains. So
Okay.
We're looking underneath here, making sure we don't have any water.
Nice.
And then for stains and stuff like that up here on the ceiling, you know, down the walls, make sure we don't have any roof leaks and
Sure.
all that. So whenever we find out, you know, that everything's fine, then we'll just put a circle on there on
Okay.
pass.
Okay.
And then we're looking at baseboards trimmed, secure, attached, and free of damage. So we're looking at baseboards.
Okay.
And making sure there's no damage, splinters, or anything like that somebody can, you know, get hurt on.
Nice.
Safety is most important.
Absolutely.
And if it's something needs painted or sanded down or something like that, then we'll write out a work order and we'll get on.
Awesome.
So,
The other amazing thing that we talked about, and I talked about this a little bit during our last meeting, we're going to have a QR code in the rooms. So we've essentially mobilized our ownership. If
Yeah.
you see something that needs to be repaired, you're going to be able to scan that QR code or go directly to our website and click a link and actually report that. Now what that does is it triggers not an actual work order, but a work request. And that goes to Mike, and Mike reviews those. He'll come out and take a look at it. He may call you if you submit one and get more information.
Yeah.
And then he'll put it in as an actual work order. And that goes right into that MaintainX system. And then that can be assigned out to one of our team members that'll come out and actually make the repair. So excited about that, because everybody can report and know that when they report something, it's not getting lost in the shuffle.
Right.
It's in a system. You can actually even check email updates and get updated when that repair happens.
Nice.
So, again,
Nice.
that accountability on our part
Yeah.
is awesome for our owners to have. So excited
yeah,
about
we're
that.
really excited about it. And
Yeah.
Colt here, he's been going through, and the rest of the guys have been going through, and we're training everybody to look at what we need to be looked at, not only in the units, but in, you know, in the park.
Yeah.
So if you see something, say something.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Absolutely.
You bet. Thank you guys.
too.
It's pretty outside, so enjoy.
It is.
There's a quick sneak peek of the pond.
We'll drive by that next.
Okay. Someone wants to know, will this be happening for housekeeping so they can make reports about bathhouses and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. So, well, not housekeeping. So you can always submit a feedback form saying, hey, there's an issue with the housekeeping. If it's not a maintenance issue, MaintainX, it's not meant to say this area needs to be cleaned. But obviously, you know, please call us if you ever see an area that's not up to standard.
Absolutely.
You know, let us know. That cleanliness is, in my book, that bumps up the list in priority. I would not want it to go through the MaintainX system. Just give us a call and let somebody know, and housekeeping will come and correct that issue immediately. So. At first, I thought you were asking if housekeeping would be using the MaintainX system, and they absolutely will when they're in cleaning a unit after somebody has stayed. You know, they'll be using it to report anything that they find. We've also swapped who does a little bit of what. So we talked about light bulbs. So before, maintenance would change light bulbs in the individual units and handle blinds and small appliances. We're moving that back into housekeeping. So housekeeping will be making any of those adjustments immediately while they're cleaning a room. So our pond here, excited about it. Wish we could have went deeper, but unfortunately it's the Ozarks, and we pretty much immediately hit rock. And the concern is, if you keep trying to dig past the clay layer, you'll have a leak. So worked closely with the guys on, you know, how deep we could go and trying to ensure that we maintain that clay layer, because we didn't want the expense of having to kind of reline the pond. So it definitely looks a lot bigger. I didn't have the benefit of seeing the pond before the cattails grew. So to me, this pond looks enormous now. Excuse me. I will say that it looks shallow, but it's actually a lot deeper than it looks. And the reason that I can say that is I've seen somebody stand by that post sticking out in the middle, and to me it looks like it would come up, you know, to my head
Really?
from here, and it is,
Wow.
it's a lot deeper than that.
Wow.
So in fact, I'll get out here. Yeah, especially with the camera lens, it can look like there's this kind of small slope that keeps going down. But Amy, if you want to stand right there, I don't want you to fall.
Okay. Yeah,
Does it show it on the camera?
it does. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, we're probably at 3-4 foot right here off the edge, which is supposed to be enough to ensure cattails don't grow.
Nice.
I'm still worried about it. We're hoping to get another 5 or 6 right here. So we will be treating the pond going forward once we get filled back up. And that treatment is just going to ensure that cattails don't go back. We're going to be working with the wildlife department to ensure that, you know, the chemicals that we're selecting are safe for the fish
Sure.
and for the ecosystem in the pond, and that it won't hamper our ability to fish it. That's really a main concern of mine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you can see the rock was kind of in weird areas. Like you'll see that it's a little bit deeper over here, then we got an area that's a little bit taller. You know, there's some weird rock shelves that we had to kind of work around. But all in all, super excited. So beyond just this, we're going to be looking at beautification. We still have $5,000 planned
Awesome.
for some other improvements of just this area. We've talked about a couple different things. Obviously, this cleaning station here, I'd like to see it get torn down and rebuilt for sure. Because this is pretty rough over here. Wind must have taken that thing. So rebuilding this for sure. We've talked about kind of a boardwalk-ish thing coming across where instead of walking on the side of the road or fishing from the side of the road, people would be able to kind of walk on a boardwalk that goes across here. Just a few ideas. We've talked about maybe a fire ring. Just some things to make this area more of a focal point for people to come and hang out, relax, fish, and spend quality time with each other. So.
Some people said they could not hear you out there. Do you want to kind of retell them?
Oh yeah, now I gotta remember what I said.
You were talking about the depth of it.
Yeah, so you could probably see me out there. I was just saying that looks can be deceiving. When I look at this, when I first came out here, I was kind of underwhelmed. Not the size of the pond looked really big, but the depth, until I stepped down into it and saw that it's deeper than it looks on camera, or just with the naked eye sitting here, it doesn't look as deep as it actually is. So not as deep as we wanted it to be. I was hoping 5-6 foot around the edge for that kind of first shelf, and I really wanted to see it in kind of a 2-step or 3-step down. That just wasn't able to happen with the rock that they hit. So we replaced that clay layer as best as possible, and was assured that, you know, 3 foot is going to prevent that cattail buildup. But we're still going to continue to treat it with a chemical that will stop those cattails from coming back. So the idea is fix the problem, the immediate problem, but also have a long-term solution, because we don't want to, I mean, this was a $25,000 project to remove these cattails, do all the dirt work. And we don't want to have to spend that again in 5 years.
Right.
We want to take care of the investment that we made and ensure that we don't have to spend that kind of money again.
Someone wants to know, can you add more variety of fish? So what's the plan for the fish?
Absolutely. So we don't have a fish plan yet. I would love to see a variety of fish in there. we've got a couple of different options, and this will be the first pond that I've stocked. So if you are an owner that has done a fish plan before and you're interested in being part of that, reach out to me. I would love the help on it.
I'm thinking crappie.
Yeah.
Just all crappie in that pond.
We've got some options. Do we buy more mature fish? Do we buy smaller fish and limit fishing for a few years as they, you know, kind of grow and get bigger? Kind of everything's on the table right now. So again, if you have any expertise in that, reach out and, you know, be part of that plan.
Absolutely. All right. Housekeeping.
Oh yeah.
Bill says, I just want to give a shout out to everyone that works there for a great job. Everyone goes above and beyond. Thanks,
you.
Bill. Can we upgrade the parks?
Yeah, the parks are in need of some TLC for sure. It's not in the plan this year as it sits right now. That doesn't mean plans can't change, but that was not in the plan this year, but certainly on my radar.
Yeah, phase 3 up here could use definitely a new park.
And there's some things that we can do, you know, this year that are smaller repairs and things for sure. But
Yep.
So we're going to give you a glimpse kind of behind the scenes. Not a lot of people have stepped into housekeeping before. I will say that when I first started, housekeeping was, we had a lot of storage in there that really wasn't necessary or useful, things that we weren't going to use in the future, that were very outdated or torn or ripped. And I think the idea was, hey, we can fix this and reuse it, but you know, unfortunately, the time and material costs to do that in a lot of instances just was not worth it. So when Jeff took over, I talked about this last week as well, but we didn't have an inventory control system in housekeeping.
Wow.
We would find something on deal and then order it. Sometimes we kept more chemical than we probably needed. And so Jeff went through and he has worked extremely hard at making housekeeping an efficient operation. And along with that comes, you know, ensuring that we don't use 86 different types of chemicals, because we have to have an SDS sheet on each one of those chemicals, and we have to have training on each one of those chemicals. So narrowing it down to the chemicals that we use most often and that are useful for our housekeeping staff, so we can be in compliance with our SDS sheets and OSHA and all the regulations that go along with that. Ensuring we've got accurate inventory so we know what we have on hand and what we need to order so that we're ordering wisely. And then just really doing a big cleanup. You know, what things are up here that we're never going to use. You know, a broken lamp that's sat on the shelf for 5 years is not, it's not going to be used. So clearing that inventory out as well. But we'll take a step in here as well. I'm sure a lot of people have never seen a laundry facilities.
Nice.
So for those of you that have never, hey, how are you doing? Folding sheets. So all of our laundry, when we turn over a room, comes to this room to get washed and dried. A few years ago, we purchased these new washers. They work great. We've only had issues with one of them, but pretty responsive. A team that comes out and helps us get those running again. So excited about all of that. These are our dryers. There is one that gives us some issues that we're looking at replacing at some point, but all in all, they're great industrial dryers that do a really good job for us. So
Nice.
obviously, lots of folding takes place here. You can see that they stock bed sheets over here. I know that Jeff has told me that bed sheets are one of the things on his list. A lot of them you can see through. They're uncomfortable. So he's got a plan to start ordering those for the start of next season.
Awesome.
To kind of rotate our stock there. Up at the very top loft over here, when I first started, this was full of items. Again, a lot of it in really bad repair, things that we don't use anymore at all. So Jeff and his team cleaned all that out.
Wow.
And we've got a usable space up there.
It looks
now.
very organized.
And then up here, so again, another area that just had a lot of stuff in it that we weren't using all the time. And you know, being consistent with what we're putting in rooms, what we're using, both chemical-wise and material-wise, is important. Otherwise, you get a lot of mismatched things. So Jeff is really working at ensuring that moving forward, you know, we got a standard. Hey, we're going to use this type of coffee pot.
Yeah.
Going through and reorganizing this area, and again, getting rid of the stuff that we no longer use. So this area again was kind of just overflowing with stuff. And Jeff has gone through and his team and reorganized it and inventoried it so we know what we have on hand. So
Very nice. You're doing a great job.
I will tell you, she showed me how to fold when I was helping out in housekeeping. She made sure that she's got a standard. And if you don't fold it right, she lets you know. So,
Have a good day. Trisha Jean said, enjoyed this so much. Thank you both. We are newbies and learning. Have a blessed day.
oh, thank you. You too.
Nice. Another question. Michelle says, I'm sure it's been asked and discussed, but I missed it. Is there a discussion of adding dog parks?
So the question about dog parks has come up. Initially, I thought, man, that is an awesome idea. Obviously, there are some insurance implications that we'd have to look at. And then found out that in the bylaws, there's very specific language about fences being added. So obviously not saying no, but that's something that would probably have to go to an owner vote before any fence could be installed on the property. So.
Sarah says, everything is looking good. Thanks for explaining the financials last week and the tour this week. We appreciate all the hard work you are doing, Stephen and your team. We look forward to coming back up there soon. Keep up the good work.
Come in March.
Yes, March is going to be good.
I'd love for March to be just an amazing kickoff time, that, you know, that week when we have some celebration going on.
Absolutely. Becca would like to know about upgrading the internet.
Yeah, so we actually have a bid, a proposal to do that. Significant cost, obviously, for each phase. And when I was looking at priorities this year, given that we have the T-Mobile hotspots and the ability, you know, to provide internet in a couple of different ways, I didn't see it as a priority this year, but I certainly see it as something that needs to get fixed on the park.
Absolutely.
We were also kind of, you know, we've already made that investment. In fact, we just paid it off, and it's really a shame that that investment didn't do what we thought it was going to do.
Yeah.
So that's not something that I want to jump into at first. I want to make sure that we get really solid bids, that we know exactly what the coverage is going to be.
Yep.
Look like. then make an informed decision. I think. Not saying that it didn't happen in the past. We may have just been lied to. I wasn't here, but we were promised coverage that we did not receive.
Right.
So, and that's a shame because we made a big investment in that. So down the line, absolutely, I would love to see that infrastructure repaired and be working like it should.
Awesome.
Real quick, I do want to point out, so something that's happening this year is we've had these on each one of the bathhouses in different areas of the park. We're looking to moving toward a digital kind of billboard system.
Yeah.
So there'll be outdoor rated behind glass displays that all work with a central system. So when Amy, puts the schedule or updates this or updates that, it automatically populates all of them. We'll have them at the bathhouses, and we're going to have them at the clubhouse, at the lodge, at the welcome center. So excited about that happening this year. So this laundry is currently shut down. Back behind here, just another example of our housekeeping and maintenance working together. So these dryers are all piped. We have to look at a new solution because this does not work unless we add a blower. But if you're familiar with this laundry room, this was nasty back here. And these ports, the outlet ports for the dryers, had collected a ton of lead. They were a fire hazard. Housekeeping and maintenance worked together to pull all this apart, get it all cleaned back behind these dryers, and it's looking great.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Very nice.
We are looking, so Johnny Morris is the company that handles our washers and dryers. So the way that agreement works is Treasure Lake doesn't actually own any of these machines. The Johnny Morris company does. They've approached me about upgrading our machines. So we're looking at the plan for that. It's going to happen in phases. Don't have any details, nothing strong in writing yet. But they want to update our machines, make them newer, along with our dryers as well.
Nice,
so,
nice.
That's something we're really working towards. And then we get a percentage.
Yeah.
So every time we use it, we get a percentage of that. So we don't have to pay for maintaining or replacing machines.
That's awesome.
And the organization makes basically 30 cents on the dollar that's spent here. We're almost already at an hour. Time flies.
Stacy'd like to know, will the cost of washing and drying go up with the new system?
That is something that is, when we started talking about implementing the new washers and dryers, they did say that the newer ones do cost a little bit more. Still in negotiations with that. I mean, the idea is to be a good partner with them. They need to make money back on their investment in our park. But we also want to make sure that it's affordable for owners. So we will be very transparent about any contract changes with Johnny Morris, what that looks like, and if rates increase, what they will be. But currently, there would be an increase with those new machines as they try to recoup the significant cost of investing into our park. So. So we're going to step out and take a look at a prototype deck that we're looking at, and then we're going to jump into one of the yurts because I've had a lot of feedback about people wanting to see the inside of a yurt that maybe hasn't gotten to stay in one yet. So we'll jump and look at this deck first. still a work in progress. It's not done yet. But one of the things that we're looking at is, can we use composite decking instead of wood decking in these high traffic areas, and these steps and decks. So this is one that we put together. It's obviously not done yet. The trim board is missing, and maintenance is currently working on it. But once it gets done, we'll kind of evaluate, is this what we want to do moving forward when we replace or repair a deck? Do we want to swap it out for this sort of material? Because it's got a longer life on it. And also, in my opinion, you know, when you stain, you know, put a protectant over your deck in a high traffic area like this that gets walked on all the time, eventually that starts to wear. And the idea is that these won't wear. So again, if you're an owner and you've got a lot of experience in this, reach out to me.
Yeah.
Let me know, hey, here are the pros and cons. Because right now, we're going to take a look at it and say, is this something we want to move forward with? So as of now, it's kind of in the design stage and looking at, is this an investment that we want to make down the line? So.
Very nice.
Let's walk over to year 3. I'm going to shut my car off.
Okay. Someone says, from someone who has both, the composite decks may be a little more money, but it is so worth it. That's
Yeah,
from
and that's
Stacy.
the feedback that we've been getting. We just want to take some time to look at both the look and the product, and then the life of it, and see if it's something we want to do. I appreciate that feedback. Because I mean, like, just for instance, these yurts. I mean, they went in how many years ago?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, they haven't been here for a really long time.
Yeah.
These decks, in my opinion, are fairly new, and we're already seeing just a ton of wear and
Yep.
rust and rot. So these yurts are currently shut down for the winter. I had housekeeping go ahead and come in and make up a bed for one, just so you can kind of see what they look like when they're being rented out. But these are beautiful yurts.
They are really nice.
And the wood furniture is just awesome in here. I really, really enjoy it. Even down to these stools. Just really, really neat place to stay.
There's a fireplace on the wall. Very nice. Very nice. If you guys have not rented one of these, you need to. These are perfect.
Just not in the winter.
Not in the winter.
We are looking at ways, because they're in such high demand, and I've had the question, like, you know, can you open them up during the winter? I think it's a possibility down the line. We just need to look at winterizing them for winter stays. So not out of the question, but people that have stayed here, the heaters that we have in here work great for those mild temperatures,
Yeah.
but not for a really cold night. It just does not keep it warm enough in here. So.
Very cool. Very nice.
And there's a back deck here. And it's a great wraparound deck. Goes all the way
Yeah,
through.
your own private deck. Very cool. There's a lot of wildlife that likes to hang out back here. You'll see lots of deer run through here. Very beautiful. Lonnie says, do you encourage bids on equipment and machinery such as laundry, equipment, etc.?
Encourage bids if we're from owners or?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So any time we buy any major appliance, absolutely, we're going to be going out and looking at multiple prices from multiple distribution sources. I probably should have stopped talking.
So multiple distribution sources, you definitely price.
Yeah, absolutely.
Around.
Yeah, again, you know, the way that we look at it is, I'm an owner as well, and I want to make sure that we're good stewards of this place and of our finances. So just like personally, if I was going to go buy a car, I don't buy the first one sight unseen. I do some research, and then I make sure that we get the best price on it. So and if you are an owner, and you know, we've got thousands of owners, and many of them may be involved in areas, and that's why we want to make sure that if we are going to be purchasing something, we want to be transparent with that and let everybody know. So if we can get a better price leveraging our ownership, absolutely. You know, like the pond work that we did, you know, we had an owner complete that, that bid that project and won the bid. So absolutely encourage owners to come forward if they have a skill set, or if they're able to get us a great deal on equipment or service or anything like that. Please, reach out and let me know.
Mark says composite will need to be power washed every other year.
Yeah.
So that's definitely part of the maintenance on that.
Yeah, that preventative maintenance is, again, that Maintain X allows us to populate all that when an asset is purchased or a repair is made, an upgrade is made, so that we can ensure that it retains its life.
Suzanne says there's not enough pet-friendly accommodations, so she would like more pet-friendly units. Is that something that's been talked about?
Yeah, that's been brought up a couple of times, that we don't have enough pet units, and something that we're going to be looking at for sure.
Yeah.
It hasn't been top priority for me because I haven't heard from a lot of individuals that have an issue, but I would say, you know, reach out to me, absolutely, if you found it difficult to rent a unit, and we can go back and look at, you know, how quickly those fill up, and talk to reservations and start seeing how many more do we need to create as pet units. And the big difference is it's not as easy as, I mean, once we convert one of those to pet, you know, we lose the ability for, I won't say we lose the ability, but there's several people that don't want to stay in a pet unit. There's some that need to stay in a pet unit. And there is a big difference between the two. If we've had it happen in the past where somebody has stayed in a pet unit with a pet, obviously they got a fine for that, and that fine really covers the additional cleaning that we have to do to ensure that the next person coming in, if they have an allergy to pets, they're not going to be affected by that. So,
yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, that was a tangent that had really nothing to do with your question. Certainly something we're going to look at. I want to make sure that if there's a need for it, that we can meet that need.
Yeah.
So
we are in phase 4 now. This is where all of our employees and work campers are staying this winter. Most, probably, not all, but most.
We do have several repairs planned. Not as many site repairs as we have in phase 2.
This is one right here.
Yeah, this is one. The pull-in needs to be re-leveled. The retaining wall is kind of falling down. Yeah.
Yeah, it needs some work.
still thinking about that storage question that was asked earlier. I've had some owners come to me and say, hey, I've got a specific issue on my site. We certainly want to make sure that, you know, if you're experiencing an issue, that we get it fixed. As far as the question of, is there major repairs that are planned for this year for storage? Not as of yet.
Okay.
But certainly it's on the list, like many other things of areas that we need to invest some additional time and money into.
Bill says there are a lot of great sites down there that just need updated. So, yeah.
And that's why we wanted to make sure that, you know, phase 4 and phase 2 got some attention, you know. And I really don't think that 26 sites is going to be where we stop. I think that's just kind of our starting place. Those are areas that we've identified that we are definitely going to do some updates to. And some of them are, you know, just ensuring that when you pull a trailer in, an RV in or out, that it doesn't drag. We've got some sites that just, they've washed out a little bit.
Yep.
So, and again, not just putting gravel down, but, you know, is there a way that we can divert that water so that we're not constantly adding gravel?
Stacy says one concern she had regarding pets was when they first camped with their pets, no paperwork was required regarding like rabies vaccinations, etc. I would hope that maybe if an owner has a pet that would be kept on file in case there was an incident. Have we ever looked into having?
We haven't.
We do have a policy, right?
Yeah, there's a policy, but as far as ensuring that we have paperwork on file, that's something that we don't do, and honestly, I've not looked at.
Sure.
Not saying that it's not a good idea. I've said this a few times. It's from when I first started to now, we've obviously made some pretty big strides. The staff have done an amazing job. There's still a huge list of stuff that needs to be done. And I just hope as owners, you know, I'm hearing from you guys and trying to determine based on owner feedback, working directly with the board who's also getting owner feedback as well, and staff and policy to figure out what things need to be addressed first. If I focus on something, it's not because I think other things aren't important. It's just made the top of my priority list.
Right.
So we will continue working down that list.
Mark recommended some new mattresses and the pet-friendly units. The beds are really bad.
Yeah, Jeff has brought that up a couple of times. I know that we have plans to start replacing beds. We actually had several mattresses that they were ordered and couldn't be used because we had the wrong frames for those mattresses. So again, standardizing what we're purchasing, what it looks like, how we're going to implement those things. I agree. We've got both pet-friendly and non-pet-friendly beds that need some replacing. So
very nice. Someone wants to know, did the retaining wall that fell over in phase 4 get fixed?
I am not sure which one. I do know that they were working on a retaining wall that got completed a couple of days ago, but I don't want to say that was the one because I would probably be wrong.
Okay.
That would be my luck, so can't speak specifically to it. Why don't you send me an email?
Okay.
And I will, one, make sure it's on MaintainX, that it's on the list of things to get done, and I can ask Mike if that's been completed yet.
And your email is
gm@tlresort.com.
gm@tlresort.com. If you guys have any other questions too, feel free to email anytime. Jan says there's still money left over from site upgrades, from the site upgrade campaign. Will that money be used in the near future to upgrade sites?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we budget a number in our annual budget, those pots of money that are set aside for site improvements, that's what we would be drawing from on the balance sheet side of things. So yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Leroy Brewer says, thank you for the tour. I really enjoyed it. Bill McCorkle says, now I'm homesick. Come back.
Home.
That's right. Come home. It really is lovely here. Even this time of year, it is really beautiful. It is really nice. Branson's a little more quiet in January and February, but it is really nice. This year, a lot of shows are starting up earlier in February. So if you like to go to shows, but you don't necessarily like the crowds, February would be an awesome time to come get a half-price cabin and also see some shows here. Let's see. Richard would like to know, are the Treasure Lake rental campers going to stay in Phase 3, or will the sites be reopened?
I'd like to hear from owners on that. We had talked about leaving them on sites that weren't frequently used, just so they're not being moved around all the time. I'm open to, you know, if one of them is sitting on a site that somebody really enjoys or likes, someone like to see those moved around, yeah, reach out to me and let me know.
Melinda would like to see the ducks.
The
before
ducks, we can go see the ducks. That'll be our last stop. We'll go see the ducks.
So what happened to all of our golf carts?
Yeah, so one of the things that we did this winter was put golf carts over in the pavilion, again, just to protect them.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the weather a little bit. If somebody wants to rent one and it's been put over there, we're just monitoring what the rental rate is.
Sure.
So we've got some available. But yeah, just wanted to make sure they were a little more protected out of the weather.
Awesome. My video does not do this justice in the car.
We've got a half-frozen lake.
And the ducks do not seem to mind it at all. There they are, Melinda.
We gotta keep it PG.
What'd you say?
Oh, we gotta keep it PG. All right, well, thank you guys. Again, if you have questions, comments, email me, gm@resort.com. Looking forward to having you guys back in March. Next week, we'll be doing a virtual Meet the Managers again. It'll be more of a Q&A style, not a drive around. And then the following week, we'll do another drive around and talk about updates and look at what's been done so far. So thank you all for joining us again, and we'll see you next week.
All right, have a